team 2 years ago, as I recall, it immediately made a big impression. This is written by Carlos, by the way. Carlos, so these are Carlos's words. It was Carlos. For her desire to learn. She immediately wanted to learn about all the tools we use, wire strippers, soldering irons, etc., the process we knew, soldering, crimping of connectors, etc., and the higher level things like motor controllers, sensors, detectors that the electrical team helps with. She's continued learning and taking on more and more responsibility for herself, and last year did much of the wiring on the robot, as well as supervising many students in wiring LEDs for the lighted 191 signs. This year, I showed her a physics calculation. It's Jack Motley wrote this. You're right. This year, I showed her a physics calculation I made that answers the question, how far off perfect balance can a robot hang on the generator switch and still be within the plus or minus 8-degree range? Now, if you come to the competition, you'll see what that is. And a few minutes later, I saw her get out a new piece of paper and go through the calculation by herself so she could make sure she understood it for herself. She has also learned a great deal about mechanics, helping with the climbing mechanism, and getting others involved as well. She learned to use a lathe from me just a few days ago, and I'm sure she could, with minimal supervision, turn simple parts today. She's patient and will do the repetitive tasks that many students rapidly lose interest in, keeping her focused and doing her last job just as well as the first one. Shay played a big part in our efforts to find sponsors and help fund our program. She was a key contributor in preparing student presentations for potential donors, and even stepping up to cover for another presenter that could not make a presentation. This exemplifies Sheyranna's leadership style, where she is ready to step up at any time, but always careful not to limit others from participating and growing from their experience. Shay's experience during the past 2 years has inspired her to improve the introduction of new students to the team. She worked on developing pre-season activities to make robotics less overwhelming to students in their first year. She introduced students to games of past years and how teams use different mechanisms to tackle the different challenges. The presentations included videos, discussion, students to participate during meetings and present their work at the end of each meeting. More than anyone, Shay carries out the team's motto, we build people, not just robots. Sheyranna is a gifted individual in many ways, a thoughtful leader, a diligent supporter of her teammates, and a talented vocalist. It's her teachers, mentors, and fellow students that continue to sing her praises. For these reasons, and without hesitation, we submit Sheyranna as a nominee for the FRC Dean's List Award.
Okay, hello everybody. Once again, we have another Dean's List recipient. This year, for the 2020 XCATS Dean's List recipient, we have Alissa Rivers. So, for those of you who don't know, Alissa has been trying to figure out who wrote her essay. I'll give you a hint, it's somebody that gives out a lot of push-ups. Alissa Rivers, a student who impressed us by being a member of the Drives team last year, followed up that stellar performance by interviewing, winning, and accepting our team's highest role, which is student coach. Prior to accepting the role for the season, she was already performing coach duties during preseason. Those 6 weeks, Alissa took it upon herself to develop a lesson plan that incorporated reviewing game strategies and robot design from several winning FRC teams, spanning a decade. By the time the actual build season began, thanks to Alissa, all the students understood what could be accomplished with the design of this year's game, Infinite Recharge, as well as the trade-offs that must be considered with each decision. Alissa also led the alumni donation drive by developing informational letters to share the team's current activities and accomplishments, while soliciting funds to offset a steadily declining budget. Similarly, she plays a major role in making pitches to potential donors, as we communicate our story of a diverse inner-city high school excelling at robotics, yet finding it hard to secure funding. She is always willing to share the impact that FIRST has had on her life. As a two-time Chairman's Award-winning team, we strive to emphasize the importance of giving back to the community. Some students understand the value of giving back, but very few embrace it. Spirit is something that is ingrained and is infectious in everything that Alissa does. Rather than being content with meeting our team's requirements, Alissa was involved in 4 unique service opportunities. Whether organizing and vetting food or serving meals to the homeless, planting flowers for churches, educating elementary school kid students at the Maker Fair, or simply helping teammates. She is a consummate servant leader. The world would be a much better place if we had more people like Alissa. As holds true for countless others, Alissa's face would light up whenever she saw the late Dr. Woody Flowers, and it made perfect sense. He was selfless, and like-minded people gravitate towards him. I'm confident that Alissa will continue to move Dr. Woody Flowers' legacy forward by giving back to the FIRST community and the greater community at large. Alissa's influence on our team and our community has been significant. She does an incredible job of connecting our future, present, and past, and makes a conscious effort to ensure that the next group of students understand the history of XCATs and FIRST, so our team can continue moving forward for decades to come. Our team has a record number of graduates last year, which made many of us think that we'd be in a start-over mode. Thanks to Alissa, she made sure that we are not in start-over mode. She brought her classmates with her. She started off making everyone better during preseason, and she hasn't skipped a beat. Ensuring that the team is on track with any and all deliverables, she's our mechanical subject matter expert, our project planner, our community service liaison, and our fundraising leader, all rolled up into one. The Dean's List Award was created for students like Alissa, students who excel professionally and personally, students who embody everything that FIRST stands for, students who lead and have earned the respect of their peers, and most importantly, students who have a light that shines so bright you can't help but take notice. Congratulations. Mentors and teachers, come on stage, surround these two so we can get a nice group picture.